Alex had never thought life on a space station could be so strange. Living hundreds of light years from Earth, sharing a small apartment with an alien roommate, and trying to survive on a mix of human food, and whatever the station could supply was already challenging. But nothing had prepared him for the peculiar reality of living with Lyra. Lyra was not just any alien. She was an Aurelian, a species known across several sectors for their intelligence, elegance, and adaptability. Her skin shimmered faintly in soft shades of blue and silver, and her eyes reflected light like tiny mirrors. She could stretch her limbs slightly in ways humans could not, and her voice carried a melodic cadence that made even simple instructions sound like music. Despite her grace, she was practical and highly disciplined. Sharing a living space with someone like that required constant adjustment, but Alex had been doing his best. That evening, Alex returned from the station's communal cafeteria with a tray of synthetic protein snacks. He was exhausted. The station's artificial gravity sometimes left him feeling heavier than usual, and the endless hum of machinery grated on his nerves. He opened the apartment door and muttered to himself. Finally, some quiet. He set the tray down on the small kitchen counter and headed for the bathroom. He was used to Lyra being in her private quarters, changing suits or performing her alien hygiene rituals. The door was slightly ajar, and Alex, thinking it empty, pushed it open without much thought. Immediately, he froze. Lyra stood in the center of the bathroom, her usual shimmering blue skin now more vivid, almost glowing in the harsh fluorescent lights. She had partially removed her adaptation suit, a high-tech garment that allowed her species to survive in environments far different from their home planets. The suit hummed faintly as it adjusted to her body. Alex's eyes widened, and his face flushed. I'm so sorry," he stammered, stepping backward instinctively. Lyra didn't scream or cover herself. Instead, she tilted her head slightly and regarded him with a calm, almost curious expression. Her skin shifted to a soft lavender hue, signaling mild amusement rather than anger. "You have opened the door at an inconvenient time," she said, her voice serene. "But perhaps you can assist me." Alex blinked. "Assist you? With what?" Lyra held up the partially removed adaptation suit. "This suit has locked improperly. Its release sequence is malfunctioning. If I do not remove it carefully, it will constrict and cause discomfort. It requires two individuals, one to guide the release and one to manage the final adjustments. You human are present, therefore you must help." Alex's brain struggled to keep up. He had walked into an awkward situation, and now she was asking him to help her. With a malfunctioning suit, his nerves buzzed, but curiosity and a strange sense of responsibility pushed him forward. Okay," he said cautiously, holding out his hands. "Just tell me what to do." Lyra nodded slightly, her eyes gleaming. She extended one of her long, elegant arms and guided his hands to the suit's locking mechanisms. The devices were complex, small panels with luminous glyphs and sliding segments. Alex studied them, trying to remember the steps she had explained. He fumbled a little. "Careful," Lyra murmured. "Do not apply pressure here. That segment is sensitive to force." Alex swallowed. "Right, sensitive segment, got it." He pressed a button, and a faint hiss sounded as part of the suit loosened. Lyra's skin shimmered, indicating relief. Alex relaxed slightly. "You are surprisingly careful," she said. "Most humans would panic." "I'm not sure if I'm careful," Alex admitted, "or just terrified." A soft hum of amusement rippled from Lyra. "Both can be effective motivators." Together, they worked in silence for several minutes. Alex guided the suit's panels as Lyra moved, occasionally giving instructions in her melodic voice. Every time he made a small mistake, Lyra's skin shifted to a gentle pink, a subtle way of showing her mild frustration that was more humorous than alarming. When the final segment released, the suit detached completely. Lyra stepped back and flexed her limbs. Her skin shifted to a calming silver blue, signaling contentment. "You have done well," she said. "This task required trust. You have earned it." Alex let out a long breath. "Trust? You trust me?" Lyra's eyes sparkled faintly. "I trust those who follow instructions and act with careful consideration. That is rare among humans. You may yet surprise me further." Alex felt a strange warmth spread through him. He had expected anger, embarrassment, maybe even a sharp rebuke. Instead, he had received acknowledgement and respect. It was oddly rewarding. For a few moments, neither spoke. The air hummed with quiet energy, a mix of technological ambience from the apartment and the lingering residual glow from Lyra's suit. Finally, Alex chuckled softly. "So, am I officially allowed to be in the apartment while you change, or is this a one-time emergency?" he asked, trying to lighten the tension. Lyra's lips curved in a faint smile. "This was a unique situation, but your presence caused no disruption beyond the initial surprise. Consider yourself provisionally authorized." Alex laughed, shaking his head. "I'll try not to make a habit of walking in at the wrong time." Lyra tilted her head. "Humans often act without foresight. It is understandable." The conversation shifted naturally after that. Alex prepared some drinks while Lyra tidied up her suit's components. She explained in more detail how the adaptation suit worked, how it adjusted her body to different environmental pressures, and how subtle errors in its removal could cause discomfort or minor injury. Alex listened intently, fascinated by the alien technology and the insight it gave into Lyra's species. "You humans are resilient," Lyra remarked at one point. "Despite your lack of specialized adaptation technology, you survive and thrive in varied environments." "That is admirable," Alex shrugged, a bit embarrassed. "I guess we're lucky or stubborn." "Perhaps both," Lyra said, her eyes glinting. "Adaptation is not solely technological, it is also psychological. You have demonstrated both in this instance." For the rest of the evening, the apartment felt different. There was an unspoken understanding between them now. Alex realized that living with Lyra was not just about tolerating her quirks. It was about learning from her, respecting her abilities, and earning her trust. And for her part, Lyra seemed to appreciate his willingness to act carefully and thoughtfully in a situation that would unsettle most humans. The night passed with a sense of quiet camaraderie. They shared food, stories of their respective planets, and small jokes about human clumsiness versus alien precision. By the time Alex went to bed, he felt that something subtle had shifted in their relationship. He wasn't just Lyra's roommate anymore. He had been entrusted with something unique and personal, a small yet significant marker of trust. As he lay in his bunk, staring at the softly glowing panels on the ceiling, he thought about how strange and unpredictable life could be. An accidental walk into the bathroom had turned into an unusual bonding experience, one that neither of them would forget. He smiled to himself. Lyra, meanwhile, tidied up the last of her suit components in the other room. She considered the human before her. He was curious, cautious, and surprisingly capable. That rare combination, she noted, was likely why she had not yet grown impatient with human roommates. Perhaps, she thought, humans had potential far beyond their fragile appearance. The station continued its quiet hum around them, a backdrop to a friendship that was only beginning to form. Trust had been earned, lessons had been learned, and a bridge between two very different species had been quietly constructed in the smallest of rooms. And in the calm, alien-lit apartment, Alex drifted to sleep, unaware that this seemingly awkward incident would mark the start of adventures and challenges that would test not only his skills, but also his courage, adaptability, and the bond he shared with his remarkable roommate. The next morning, Alex woke to the soft hum of the station. The apartment was bathed in pale light from the observation window, showing distant stars glimmering against the black void. He stretched, feeling the usual stiffness in his muscles from the artificial gravity. He smiled, remembering the events of the previous evening. Helping Lyra with her adaptation suit had been awkward, but it had also been enlightening. Lyra was already awake, moving silently in the kitchen area. She seemed relaxed, her skin a calming silver blue, the same shade it had settled into after the suit incident. Alex watched her prepare a nutrient drink, her motions precise and elegant. For a moment he felt like an intruder again, but then she turned to him and offered a small, genuine smile. "Good morning, human," she said. "You slept well." Alex rubbed the back of his neck. "I think so, and you?" "Sleep is adequate," Lyra replied. "I am prepared for the day's tasks." Alex nodded, taking a seat. "So you're not mad about last night?" Lyra's eyes glimmered softly. "Madness serves no purpose. I am pleased with your assistance. It demonstrates qualities I value: careful observation, quick learning, and composure under unfamiliar circumstances." Alex raised his eyebrows. "Composure under awkward alien situations." "Yes," she said, her tone almost teasing. "Including unexpected exposures to personal routines." They both chuckled softly. The air between them felt lighter than it had before, like a bridge had been quietly built overnight. Before Alex could continue, the station's intercom crackled. A calm but urgent voice announced a minor hull breach in their sector. Normally, such incidents were handled automatically, but this one required immediate human and alien intervention due to its proximity to the residential areas. Alex glanced at Lyra. "Looks like we're getting tested sooner than I thought." Lyra's skin shifted to a focused shade of deep blue. "Indeed, we must act efficiently. Your adaptability as a human may prove useful." Within minutes, they suited up. Alex donned his standard protective gear, while Lyra's suit glowed faintly as it adapted to the hull breach environment. The corridors of the station were narrow, lined with pipes and panels, and the air smelled faintly of recycled oxygen and metal. The warning lights pulsed red, adding tension to the scene. When they arrived at the breach, Alex could see the damage immediately. A panel in the outer hull had been dislodged, exposing part of the station's internal systems. Sparks flew and a hiss of escaping atmosphere added to the danger. "Seal the breach," Lyra instructed, "while I stabilize the surrounding area. Follow my lead." Alex nodded, trying to calm his nerves. Despite his previous experience in space survival training, the real danger of a hull breach was far more intense than simulations. He watched Lyra move swiftly, her limbs extending slightly to reach panels that he could not access. Her hands moved with a precision that was almost hypnotic. "You humans are adaptable," Lyra commented, noticing Alex's steady hands as he manipulated the control panel. "Your lack of specialized physiology is compensated by creativity and quick problem-solving. Continue." Alex worked faster, adjusting the seals and rerouting power to stabilize the breach. Sparks flew, and a surge of energy ran through the metal framework. Lyra steadied him with a brief touch on his arm, her skin momentarily glowing softly, signaling reassurance and trust. When the last panel locked into place, the breach was contained. The tension in Alex's chest slowly eased, replaced by a rush of relief and pride. "You performed admirably," Lyra said, her voice calm but carrying an unmistakable note of respect. "Few humans could respond so effectively in a high-pressure situation." Alex exhaled. "Thanks, I think I'm getting better at this." Lyra inclined her head. "You are learning quickly. That is advantageous." The crisis over, they walked back to their apartment together. The corridors seemed quieter now, the danger receding, but Alex felt energized. The shared experience had strengthened their bond in ways that simple conversation could not. Back in their apartment, Lyra began routine maintenance on her adaptation suit. Alex watched, fascinated by the complex mechanisms and the way her body interacted seamlessly with the technology. "You know," Alex said, "I never thought I'd be this involved in alien, personal technology, but it's kind of amazing." Lyra glanced at him, her eyes reflecting amusement. Amazing is an apt description. It is not often that humans demonstrate a combination of caution and capability with our devices. Alex smiled sheepishly. I guess it helps when the alien you're helping doesn't mind explaining every step. Yes, Lyra said softly. Patience is a human virtue you possess unexpectedly. They worked together for a while, adjusting and cleaning the suit. The room was filled with soft mechanical hums and quiet conversation. They spoke about Lyra's home planet, the customs of her people, and the complexity of living on a space station with a different gravity and atmosphere. Alex shared stories from Earth, describing mundane things like weather, food, and human holidays. Lyra listened intently, occasionally asking questions that challenged Alex to think differently about his own world. As evening approached, Alex realized how much he had learned, not just about Lyra's species or technology, but about trust, teamwork, and courage. He understood that living on the station with Lyra was more than a shared apartment. It was a partnership. Lyra paused during their conversation, her skin flickering a soft violet. Alex, you have proven yourself capable of more than I anticipated. It is pleasing to know that humans can rise to challenges so effectively. Alex felt a strange pride. I guess we just do what we have to, right? Lyra's eyes softened. Yes, that is precisely why your presence is valued. Your species' resilience is remarkable even if you are unaware of it. After dinner, they settled in for the night. Alex lay on his bunk, staring at the stars through the observation window. He reflected on the day's events, from the awkward bathroom encounter to the high-stakes hull breach, and felt a sense of wonder. Life with Lyra was unpredictable, challenging, and exhilarating. He realized that trust, once earned, could open doors to experiences he had never imagined. Lyra sat nearby, adjusting her suit components one last time before shutting down the workspace. She glanced at Alex, noting the contemplative expression on his face. You are adapting well to station life, human, she said softly. Alex smiled. Thanks, I think I'm starting to understand more than I thought I would. Lyra's skin glimmered faintly, reflecting a soft approval. Understanding is only the beginning. Observation, adaptation, and courage, these will serve you well in the days to come. Alex looked at her, curiosity lighting his eyes. Days to come? What do you mean? Lyra's expression remained calm but serious. The station will continue to present challenges. Emergencies, unknown anomalies, and situations requiring cooperation are inevitable. Our partnership, however unexpected, has proven effective. There will be more tests of skill and trust. Alex felt a thrill. The idea of facing future challenges with Lyra was daunting, but also exciting. He realized that he was no longer just a human living on a distant station. He was part of a team, respected by someone far beyond ordinary human experience. As the night deepened, they both settled into quiet routines. Alex reflected on the absurdity of the first incident, the accidental walk-in that led to helping Lyra remove her adaptation suit. What had started as embarrassment had transformed into trust, respect, and a growing friendship. The walls between their species, while vast, seemed a little smaller now. Before sleep claimed him, Alex thought about the future. Living with Lyra promised challenges, learning, and perhaps even moments of unexpected discovery. He smiled, realizing that adventure was not always in distant planets or battles. It could be in the quiet trust shared in a small, alien-lit apartment. And somewhere nearby, Lyra considered the human before her. His careful movements, willingness to assist, and capacity to remain calm under pressure marked him as unusual among humans. She allowed herself a small thought, rarely expressed: potential. Alex had potential, not only to survive but to thrive in environments far from his home. And perhaps, she mused, that potential could lead to far more than either of them had anticipated. As the station continued its quiet hum, a bond between species quietly strengthened in a small apartment among the stars. Trust had been earned, courage had been displayed, and a friendship, unusual, fragile, and promising, had begun. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, and Alex was ready. Together, they would face the unknown, learn from each other, and continue to grow in ways that neither had imagined possible.